Hi guys, my name is Chad Trofgerman, and this is kind of a special video, I guess, because, I don't know, I just woke up today and decided I need to update this channel because, first of all, I haven't been around for like a year, and second of all, I've had some things happen in the past year that I just want to share with the world. Also, I apologize for the audio quality. It's not the best. I usually have a headset, but this time I'm using a microphone right there. I just wanted more freedom so I could, woo, and First, I want to say that I'm astonished by the fact that I'm still getting subscribers on this channel, simply because I haven't been updating it for a year. And so I wanted to say I truly appreciate that my content is still viable and it's still being consumed and I'm still getting subscribers. But also, I wanted to say that I am now resuming creating content once again. This time, I'm starting over on Udemy. And the reason for that is, well, I'm going to get into that. But I'm on Udemy right now, and I currently have about, I think, 7 courses up, ranging from Moho to Animate CC and After Effects. And they're all right now focused on animation. And so if you're looking for a comprehensive course, please head over there. I'm actually giving you a coupon you can find in the description. I'll also place it right here in the video. You can get any course really cheap and get started. I would really appreciate it because right now that is my sole focus. I'm actually starting on Udemy to build up a base, hopefully, and create content consistently. And hopefully I can make a living off of that. Because in the past year, I've had some changes. And it actually started about a year ago. Hi, Frank. That's my cat. Don't mind him. What happened last year, it was in November. And it was just an ordinary day. I was hanging out doing Chad stuff. I'm sure you do Chad stuff. And I had a physical. It was an appointment, just a standard physical with my doctor. And I went in there and, everything was going fine. And they asked me if I wanted a flu shot. And I don't think I've ever had a flu shot before in my life. However, I was like, you know what, maybe I should do that. It's science. It's supposed to help younger people and the elderly, me being protected or protecting them. It's just supposed to be beneficial. And okay, I'm going to do that. So I get the flu shot, and I probably cried because, actually didn't, but my wife probably held my hand. Anyway, afterwards, sitting in the office talking to the nurse leaves, I'm feeling okay. They go to get me a water, and the doctor comes in, and, we just start going through the usual physical stuff. I had no concerns, but then suddenly, my wife and the doctor are talking to each other, and I just look at them and I say, I think I'm going to pass out. And they told me to lay down. So I quickly lay down on the bed that's in the doctor's office. And the next thing I know, I wake up and there is the doctor, and I think 2 other doctors, or at least another staff member and a doctor, and my wife, she's holding my hand at that point. And I'm coming to, and I'm trying to figure out what just happened, and I hear the doctor say, his heart stopped for 3 minutes. So that kind of sucked. Apparently I just sort of died for 3 minutes, I guess. Maybe not died. That might be a little bit too extreme. But it was an experience. And what's really weird about it, that stuck with me, was when I came to, I had this really weird sensation. Almost like the best feeling I've ever had. It's really hard to explain. It's also really hard to explain not being present, there while you're there and your wife is pounding on your chest because she's an ICU nurse and that's what she does for a living. And miraculously, she was able to separate that personal connection of me being her husband from the fact that, she has that ability to save lives. And the doctor, of course, took over, but it's weird. Anyway, I go to the ER, they check me over, they can't find anything wrong. So I go home, and life is fine for 2 weeks. But suddenly, I start to develop these panic attacks. And this is kind of around the time I stopped recording consistent content on the channel. It was after, like, during this part, and it stuck with me. And it was really weird because, again, for the first 2 weeks, I didn't think about it. It was just back to work. I had a contract running with another company, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go back into this. And then it was just like I fell apart. It was really weird. And I do suffer from anxiety and depression, as I'm sure a lot of us in the world do right now. I mean, look what the hell is going on. But it, like, amplified to a degree that I could not control it. Like, every single day, I was going into a panic that would last for hours. And it was terrible. I can't even explain how out of control it felt to not to be able to just control what was going on in your head. Just, it was bad. And I realized I was having some sort of PTSD from what happened, because I would go to work out, or I would go to do anything, like get a coffee at Starbucks, and which is something I love to drink, lattes, and I would be like, well, what happens if I drink the caffeine and my heart speeds up, and maybe it's something going on, you know? And during this time, we were going to a cardiologist just to follow up to make sure everything was fine, but we didn't have those results in yet. And so everything was just up in the air. I didn't know what was going on, and it was a thing, you know? And again, working out, I would start to work out and heart would race, which is what you're supposed to do when you work out. But I was like, what's going to happen if, you know, like, I don't know. So anyway, after all of that, eventually I decided I need to get help. I mean, I could not do this. I, again, knew I had anxiety and depression, just dealing with that throughout my life, and I've come to understand it better. However, I always stood by the fact that I didn't need medication to help with it. But it got to a point where I realized I was wrong. And I'm now a year into this, and I've been taking medication just a little bit to help with the anxiety for a year. I take it daily, and it has made a world of difference. And that's also part of the reason why I'm recording this. If you're out there and you're having any of these symptoms and you're like me and you're like, I'm not going to take that stuff, it's going to change me. It's going to make me a zombie. It's going to make me not want to create or do the things I love. It helped me. I'm not sure it'll help you. And if you do it, there's a trial period. That first month is going to suck, just so you know. But once I got past that and I started seeing a therapist, I go to her once a month now even. I find it to be beneficial just for, you know, fine-tuning. Mental health, it's very important. And I've slowly learned to cope with what happened. I got the results from the cardiologist. They said my heart is nice and good and nothing is wrong. So the only thing we could rule out is I'm somehow allergic to the flu shot. So no more flu shot. No. I don't like that whole, you know, thing. So anyway, so that whole long story aside, that kind of brings me back then to where I'm at right now. So over the past year, as I was kind of getting back on my feet, I started pushing more contract work for other companies. And it was going well. However, there were certain things that were kind of going on in the background that I was a little bit worried about with some of these companies, and it turned out that I was right with just a couple of things. But basically, I was trying to get into a groove where I could sustain the content with these contracts, create free content for the channel once again, and then even create animations on my other YouTube channel. But a lot of things happened. I didn't get the contracts I was thinking I was going to get. And basically, I was working for two companies. One I actually really like to work with, and one I don't like to work with. I won't get into all that, though. Let's just say that, yeah, they don't really treat their authors very well over there. But basically, I ended up without any contracts, and I kind of ended in this state where I was like, so now what? You know, I've kind of done this for the past 10 years. I've been trading contracts, you know, off and on with different companies. In exchange, I've been trying to keep up with the free content on the channel. So now that brings me to Udemy. I'm over on Udemy now, and it's going great. I absolutely love working with the Udemy platform. It's just, it gives me more freedom than working with these other companies, because, you know, once I hand the content off to these other companies, it's actually their content. They legally own that content, and depending on who you give the content to, they either treat it with respect or they don't. And it's just kind of what it comes down to. And that aspect really bugged me working for these other companies. It was like, well, what happens if we figure out a year later, or not even, that this one file is missing, or we have an issue with a file, or I said something wrong in a video that I could easily correct? Well, with some of these other companies out there, it's hard for them to correct that stuff easily. And so what I like about Udemy is I can go in, and if someone says to me like, hey, you can actually do this quicker with a script in Photoshop, which actually happened in one of my courses, I look at that and I'm like, oh yeah, she's right. And so I updated the course. I updated that video, and I love that I can do that. And again, I don't have that direct communication with the students over at these other companies, since again, it's their content. And it's just been a very encouraging and uplifting experience, because I'm finding out that, you know, there's a lot of people who like the content that I produce with these courses. And again, I try to include all the work files and everything, and I really like working that way and being more hands-on with you guys. So again, if you're curious, you can go over to Udemy. If not, I do plan to push more free content over here. Right now, it's more getting the balance, you know, in place with Udemy, making sure I'm getting appropriate income so I, you know, can like eat and feed my cats. I don't know where the cats went. They're gone. They're traders. Don't worry about them. And, you know, things like that. So I'm hoping in early 2019, you know, or maybe even within maybe spring, I can start pushing free content again here. I'm also planning to perhaps give you guys some samples of what I'm doing on Udemy. I'll pick out some standalone videos that I've done over there that you can just play and benefit from without having to view it as a whole course. And that way you can get a taste of what I'm doing over there as well. And you can also preview different lectures over there in the courses without committing. And I do also have a free course over there that's on puppet pin rigging. So again, I'll place that in the description box if you're even still watching, because I'm kind of rambling. Well, there you are. Thank you for watching my update. I hope you liked it or were enriched by it, in case you're wondering if I'm ever going to produce tutorials again. And again, I will. It's just a matter of settling into a new routine and making sure, you know, everything is set there. And then I plan to distribute free content more regularly over here once again. But in the meantime, stay up to date here. I will be posting those free Udemy samples over here soon. And if you wish to view those Udemy courses, again, links and coupons in the description box. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.